2010-15, first reading, an ordinance of the City of Odessa, Missouri, amending Police Code, Section 2.308-1, controlled substances.
I move that we approve the first reading of bill number 2010-15, ordinance number 2791.
I'll second that.
Got a motion and a second. Discussion.
I do have a quick question. It listed out here, and I think Alderman Belling can help me with this earlier, but it doesn't really say what it means by putting it as a controlled substance here. It doesn't, it just says it's adding it to this ordinance. I would like to know what the rest of the ordinance reads. Is it illegal to possess, to sell? Is it correct? Both of those.
It's like any other controlled substance in the city on the books right now.
Okay. I just didn't know exactly how that fell in there, make sure it was, you know, they couldn't sell it or possess it. So, thank you.
I got a question. I was just wondering, will this ordinance follow what the state has passed that's on the governor's desk now? It's basically the same thing.
This is a redraft of what we originally did. This is right out of the bill on the governor's desk.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Question? A motion and a second, all in favor?
Yeah. Are we going to read this one twice tonight? I would prefer to go ahead and do the second read.
This require two readings or one? Two.
Acceptable.
Okay, bill number 2010-15, an ordinance of the City of Odessa, Missouri, amending Police Code, Section 2.308-1, controlled substances.
I'd make a motion that we accept bill number 2010-15, ordinance number 2791.
I'll second that, Mr. Mayor.
Got a motion and a second, further discussion?
Alderwoman Sanders? Yes. Alderman Billington?
Yes.
Alderman Murray?
Yes.
Alderman Harmony?
Yes.
Alderman Duff?
Yes.
Alderman Wright?
Yes.
Chief, will you make sure that a notice is sent out to the appropriate retail outlets to let them know this is now a law?
Ordinance number 2792, an ordinance establishing a uniform gross receipt tax on telecommunication and amending subchapter F and chapter 5 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Odessa, Missouri.
If I may jump in here real quick to explain, you've seen this before earlier in the year. This went before the voters in April. It was defeated. If we're going to do it again, it needs to be, both readings would need to occur this evening to get it, have time for the ballot issue, to put it on the ballot for April, or for August the 3rd. So if you don't want to do that, you don't have to, you just vote it down. But in order to comply with the law to get it on the ballot, we need to have this done tonight.
And again, if this is not passed, there are monies that we have collected based on the taxes with the phone companies that we cannot actually use.
That is accurate.
Okay.
They are being paid in protest, which
They're
means
being paid in protest.
we have them in our accounts. However, we can't use them.
I cannot reiterate enough that these are not new taxes that are being put on people's phone bills, which I think, you know, when people got to the polls, if they weren't informed, that's what they were reading. So, again, this is something the city needs to keep our revenue up. It's something that if we don't do, we're losing money, and it's not an additional tax to the people. I would say that we need to move forward and get this on the ballot again and make sure people know what this is about.
Mr. Hickler, can you expound on how much money we're talking about that we currently have that's been paid in protest that we are not able to access until this is resolved?
We have somewhere in just over $120,000 approximately that we could possibly lose. It could go back with interest if we are required to give it back with interest. I would suggest, you know, the last time I put out an information sheet, this time I would, you know, do that tenfold and work with the legal counsel on developing the best system to get the message out to the voters, you know, even better than what we did last time. For some reason, it didn't have the impact that I would have hoped it would have, but I think this is important enough that we need to keep trying, because this is money that we're going to be losing, and we can't afford to lose any.
I would like, can legal counsel add to this this evening to help with the overall understanding of this ordinance and the impact that it has on us if it's not passed?
Yeah, well, I haven't read your exact ordinance either, but I know I've been involved in telecom litigation quite a bit. Basically, what's happened is there's been a lot of litigation in the last several years across the state of Missouri regarding the telecommunications taxes, and essentially, law firm in St. Louis initiated it. The case in Springfield followed, and basically sued all the cell phone companies, claiming that they should be paying a franchise tax just like landline phone companies have been for years. Ultimately, the St. Louis guys were able to win a big victory in that case and get a Supreme Court ruling saying that cell phones were in fact phone service, and so that the old taxes would apply. And then a lot of settlements have followed, and that's kind of a general up-to-date of what we got here. But basically what had happened essentially is when we had represented the city of Odessa before, and I had been involved in the telecom litigation, specifically T-Mobile, that our ordinance did not comply with the basically was not the correct ordinance that would allow us to get the taxes from the cell phone companies. And in essence, so our ordinance didn't comply with what the Supreme Court said their taxes were. And so we were one of these cities that's kind of half and half in the state. So Odessa is one of the cities that was unable to take advantage of those settlements and the ruling by the Supreme Court, and immediately started getting those taxes. Now, what I understand happened, again, I'm overgeneralizing here, but what happened is prior to when that litigation initiated, basically in preparation for the decision and the settlement, most of the cell phone companies started, they went ahead and added the tax to their bills. So they started collecting the tax from their customers, even though they weren't paying it to the cities, and basically trying to create a war chest so that they could settle these cases. Is kind of how that came about. And so, you know, T-Mobile, for example, is what I have. I know that. If you got T-Mobile service, you live in the city of Odessa, you most likely are being taxed anyway. Right now, that tax just isn't coming to the city, even though you're paying. And so they're keeping it. And so I would think that, again, I haven't read your specific ordinance, but I assume what we're doing is we're enacting an ordinance that would comply with the Supreme Court ruling and allow us to allow the city to start getting the benefit of the taxes that people are already paying on their cell phones anyway.